It is widely known and acknowledged that the Valstrax Armor Set can produce the best builds for Blade Master weapons. The Greatsword is no different. Running a Valstrax build for the Greatsword is gonna give you the highest and most consistent damage that we can get our hands on at the moment. In another video, I have already gone over this set when created without using talismans, so any hunter can have the opportunity to build it. But now, it is time to remove this limitation and try to see which is the absolute best way to run a Valstrax build. Using any talisman at our disposal, how strong can we make the strongest in the game? Let's get started. In this video, I will go over a lot of EFR calculations, and I will be telling you what the strongest build is for the Valstrax armor. That said, as always, please remember a few things. First, it is possible that I may make mistakes on my calculations. I am not a mathematician, so if you do see any mistakes, do not hesitate to let me know in the comments below. Second, as I said, this video will tell you the best way to run a Valstrax armor build. But understand that what may be the best in the game may not necessarily be the best for you. As always, use what you prefer. Third, there is a lot of information in this video, so I have made timestamps in the description in order to help you navigate to the section that interests you the most. Do not hesitate to use them. The cornerstone of this build is the Dragonheart skill. Each piece of the Valstrax armor gives us 1 point in this skill. When maxed out, its true power awakens. At level 5, Dragonheart inflicts the hunter with Dragon Blight, sets all elemental defenses to 50, and increases the attack power of your hunter by 10%. In order to activate this effect, your total HP must be at 80% of its maximum or less. This synergizes very well with the Resuscitate skill and the Greatsword's Rage Slash, creating a very powerful build as soon as Dragonheart activates. As mentioned before, we will have no limitations on talismans. I will use the most powerful talismans that I have, and you should too. This is about making the strongest build that we can get at the moment. Please note that every build that we will go over in this video, I have made using one of 2 talismans. These are the best talismans that I have. The first is a 4-point talisman with 3 levels of attack boost, 1 level of blight resistance, 1 level 2 decoration slot, and 1 level 1 decoration slot. The second one is a 3-point talisman with 2 levels in Critical Eye, 1 level in Part Breaker, and 1 level 3 decoration slot. I believe that these talismans will help me draw out the maximum potential of the Valstrax armor. If you have better talismans, your builds will only get stronger. So, how do we make the strongest Valstrax build? The first thing to note is that the Valstrax Armor Set is actually very capable of coming up with different versions of itself, depending on what the hunter wants. As a result, we are going to go over the 5-piece Valstrax build and the 4-piece Valstrax build. Also, we are going to see the power level of each build when using focus and when not using focus, as this is a very important decision that every Greatsword hunter needs to make. This is going to give us very different results depending on whether you want more damage or more comfort. We will take it step by step and go over each build so that you can make your decision with as much information as possible. To start, we need to go over the basic equipment that is used for every build that we will test in this video. The most obvious is the Valstrax Armor Set. If we are running a full 5-piece Valstrax build, we are going to need the full set. If we are running a 4-piece Valstrax build, then the best piece to substitute is the legs, as it is the weakest one. I recommend to use the Ingot Greaves, the Hunter Greaves, or the Kadachi Greaves, but it will come down to what is better for your build. No matter which one you choose, the Valstrax legs are the weakest, and it is this piece that we will remove. In regards to weapon, we are using the Nargacuga Greatsword on all of these builds. It should not be a surprise to anyone that we are using this Greatsword. When it comes to the Valstrax set, Nargacuga is the perfect Greatsword for it. As you know, it comes with 180 raw attack that we turn into 188 with the Attack Boost 3 ramp up skill. It has 20 hits of natural white sharpness and the highest natural affinity of 35%. To top it all off, it comes with a level 2 decoration slot. The combination of white sharpness, high affinity, and a good decoration slot is incredibly useful to maximize the power of the Valstrax armor. No other greatsword can best it. To start our first round of testing, we will take a look at the strongest Valstrax build while using Focus 3. As mentioned before, Focus is a very important skill for the greatsword, and maxing it out means that our charges will be the fastest possible. This means that we can get stronger slashes out quicker, which will in turn increase our damage. Focus 3 is perfect for the hunter that wants the maximum comfort when it comes to charged slashes, but it does mean that we must make a sacrifice. We have to either sacrifice attack or sacrifice affinity, but which one is better to have? I ran the numbers, and here are the results. As you can see, running 85% affinity with Attack Boost 4 and Focus 3 gives us the highest EFR, making it the preferred choice. That being said, be careful, as adding Attack Boost is not always better. The bonuses we get from Attack Boost 1, Attack Boost 2, and Attack Boost 3 are not worth lowering the affinity and will result in a lower EFR. It is not until we reach Attack Boost 4 that the increase in attack power leads to a higher EFR after lowering affinity. If you can reach Attack Boost 4, then you have to prioritize Attack Boost. But if you cannot reach Attack Boost 4, then you have to prioritize affinity. Having 100% affinity with 0 attack boost is better than having less affinity with only a few levels of attack boost. In conclusion, if you want to run Focus 3 with 5-piece Valstrax, you need to use build number 5. In order to get build number 5, you need the following basic skills: Dragonheart 5, Attack Boost 4, Resentment 3, Resuscitate 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Focus 3. This setup will give you the highest EFR under these conditions. The next chapter of our testing is for those hunters that do not need comfort, that do not care for anything except damage. If you are a hunter who wants the absolute highest damage number on the screen at all costs, then this is for you. If you decide to run 5-piece Valstrax with no focus, then we have more space in the build to increase damage. But how do we do it? Do we increase attack or do we increase affinity? Maybe we need to add more resentment. Which combination of these 3 stats will give us the highest EFR? Do not worry, I tested it all out, and here are the results. There are a few things to understand in this chart. First, we do not care for attack boost unless it is Attack Boost 4 or higher. If you cannot reach Attack Boost 4, then it is better for you to focus on affinity and resentment. Second, adding resentment will only affect your damage when you have recoverable red health, which means that it is the skill that will be active the lowest amount of time. For this reason, I recommend you prioritize getting attack boost as high as possible, as it will affect your damage in every scenario. As a result, these are my recommendations. Your first priority is to get attack boost 4 and leaving resentment at 3. Your second priority is to get attack boost 7, even if that means lowering your affinity. If you cannot get attack boost 7, then it is better to run attack boost 4 with 100% affinity. Build number 9 is the one with the highest average EFR across all scenarios, and it runs 85% affinity, attack boost 7, and resentment 3. If you cannot reach attack boost 7, it is better to run build number 1 with 100% affinity, attack boost 4, and resentment 3. Remember, these are minimal values, so if you have better talismans that let you run attack boost 5 with 100% affinity, then you are getting a stronger build than the ones I can show. Do not forget to experiment yourself. In conclusion, if you want to run 5-piece Valstrax with no focus, it is better to run build number 9. In order to get build number 9, you will need the following basic skills: attack boost 7, Dragon Heart 5, resentment 3, resuscitate 3, critical boost 3, weakness exploit 3. This setup will give you the highest EFR under these conditions. Moving on, let's talk about balance. Maybe you want to keep a bit of comfort in your build while raising the damage as much as we can. Well, for those hunters that are like me and like a little bit of both worlds, I managed to create a build that runs Focus 2 while keeping a considerable EFR. This build will do more damage than running Focus 3, but it will do less damage than running no focus. It is a build where power and comfort meet halfway. Here is the result. There are only two options: build number 1 with 90% affinity, attack boost 4, and focus 2, or build number 2 with 85% affinity, attack boost 5, and focus 2. It is very easy to see that build number 1 gets a bit more EFR in every scenario. So, if you're looking for balance, then this is the best way to do it. In conclusion, if you want to run 5-piece Valstrax with a balance of focus 2 and a bit more damage, you need to run build number 1. In order to get build number 1, you will need the following basic skills: Dragon Heart 5, attack boost 4, resentment 3, resuscitate 3, critical boost 3, weakness exploit 3, focus 2, critical eye 1. This setup will give you the highest EFR under these conditions. This build will be about 2% stronger than running 5-piece Valstrax with focus 3, and it will be about 3% weaker than running 5-piece Valstrax with no focus. As I mentioned, it is a middle ground set. The final group of testing has the objective of finding out if we can obtain a higher amount of damage by only using 4 pieces of the Valstrax armor, while adding another armor piece with better skills. Doing this will lower our Dragonheart skill to 4 levels, and this means that the attack boost increase that we receive is only 5%. Furthermore, in order to activate Dragonheart 4, our health needs to be at 70% of our maximum or lower. This means that the activation condition is stricter. These are things to take into consideration because while we may get a bit more damage, it is at the cost of making Dragonheart harder to manage. If you accept this condition, then here are the results. The armor piece that we are removing is the Valstrax legs. In its place, I tested out the ingot greaves and the hunter greaves. The ingot greaves were better in every situation, so I believe that this is the best leg armor to use with 4-piece Valstrax. Once we settle this, we are back to the same questions. Do you want to run focus? Is attack boost better, or is affinity better? As always, we only take into consideration attack boost 4 or higher. Seeing as how we are using the ingot greaves, it should not be an issue to reach this level of the skill. If you decide to not use focus, then the best build for you will be build number 2, which has 100% affinity, attack boost 7, and no focus. This build has the highest EFR in every scenario. Not only that, but the EFR when Dragonheart is not activated is the same as we would get on a standard Nargacuga Greatsword build. That means that this build is the same or better in every situation than a standard mixed set build. It does come at the cost of comfort, but if you only care about damage, you cannot get better than this. In order to get the maximum damage of build number 2, you need the following basic skills: Attack Boost 7, Dragonheart 4, Resuscitate 3, Critical Eye 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Resentment 2. Now, if you choose to run Focus, then you should understand that it is best to run Focus 2 with a 4-piece Valstrax. If you are looking to run Focus 3, then you should consider the 5-piece set. As always, it is a matter of balancing attack boost and affinity. In this situation, if you want to run Focus, then it is better to run build number 3, which has 95% affinity, attack boost 6, and Focus 2. This build will generate the highest EFR while running a 4-piece set with Focus. In order to get build 3, you will need the following basic skills: Attack Boost 6, Dragonheart 4, Resuscitate 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Resentment 2, Critical Eye 2, Focus 2. This setup will give you the highest EFR under these conditions. It is clear that the Valstrax Armor Set is very powerful, and it is also evident that there are multiple ways to run it. We have gone through all the calculations and we have reviewed each result. We can now make a proper determination on what is the strongest Valstrax build depending on what you're looking for. Let's summarize everything. If you want to run a comfort 5-piece Valstrax set with Focus 3, the best build has the following skills: Dragonheart 5, Attack Boost 4, Resentment 3, Resuscitate 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Focus 3. This build has an EFR of 422.7 with no buffs, 493.5 with Dragonheart active, and 520 with Dragonheart and Resentment active. If you want to run a damage 5-piece Valstrax set with no focus, the best build has the following skills: Attack Boost 7, Dragonheart 5, Resentment 3, Resuscitate 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3. This build has an EFR of 444 with no buffs, 516.5 with Dragonheart active, and 543 with Dragonheart and Resentment active. If you want to run a balanced 5-piece Valstrax set with Focus 2, the best build has the following skills: Dragonheart 5, Attack Boost 4, Resentment 3, Resuscitate 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Focus 2, Critical Eye 1. This build has an EFR of 429.1 with no buffs, 500.9 with Dragonheart active, and 527.8 with Dragonheart and Resentment active. Moving on to the 4-piece Valstrax set, if you want to run Focus on it, the best build has the following skills: Attack Boost 6, Dragonheart 4, Resuscitate 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Resentment 2, Critical Eye 2, Focus 2. This build has an EFR of 450 with no buffs, 504.6 with Dragonheart active, and 522.8 with Dragonheart and Resentment active. This build uses the Ingot Greaves. If you want to run a damage 4-piece Valstrax set with no focus, the best build has the following skills: Attack Boost 7, Dragonheart 4, Resuscitate 3, Critical Eye 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Resentment 2. This build has an EFR of 463.8 with no buffs, 521.1 with Dragonheart active, and 539.6 with Dragonheart and Resentment active. This build uses the Ingot Greaves. Using the 5-piece Valstrax set means that you will have weaker damage before Dragonheart activation, and most of your damage will come when the skill activates. Using a 4-piece Valstrax set means that you will have much higher damage when Dragonheart is not active, but a lower increase when it is active. You must also remember that the conditions to activate Dragonheart with a 5-piece set are more lenient, requiring to be under 80% of maximum health instead of under 70% with a 4-piece set. Remember to keep these things in mind when choosing whether to use the 5-piece set or the 4-piece set. It is also important to understand the implications of focus. While having focus in your build means that your damage will be lower, it also means that you will be hitting level 2 and level 3 slashes more often, and this increases the damage your attacks do. It heavily depends on your playstyle, but generally speaking, having focus in your build is better in the long run. In my personal opinion, I prefer to run a balanced 5-piece Valstrax set with Focus 2. I feel that having Focus 2 is enough for me to reach the high level charge slashes, and it allows me to increase my base damage by a fair margin. After having tested all of these different combinations, I feel most comfortable with this one. Nevertheless, remember to try things out for yourself and make the most informed decision that you can. The most important thing about all of these options is that you pick the one that you're most comfortable with. The Valstrax Armor Set is as complicated as it is powerful, but if you understand its properties and build to highlight its strengths, the result is, quite frankly, glorious. No matter how you decide to build this set, it will always be the best. It is only a matter of making it fit your preferences. Obviously, Valstrax Armor means that you might have to get used to playing a different way, trading hits with the monster, and using Rage Slash appropriately. But if you're able to put in the effort, you will be rewarded with absolute power. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you on the next one.